right? It's not something that was dreamed up by people who are successful and wanted to figure out what they had done and package it nicely and give it to other people. Instead, I want to share with you guys, starting tomorrow morning, because we're just about on the end of our time here, starting tomorrow morning, something that came out of failure. Something that was born of desperation. Something that was given to people who were sick and tired of seeing Satan win. And they put it together and they said, maybe it'll work. And they started working really, really hard. Guys, I am not here to give you a silver bullet for solving all the problems in the United Kingdom today. And I'm not promising that you will see success by the end of the year if you follow these 10 easy principles for $19.99. 5 payments, right? Something like that. All right? I'm not promising that. I'm promising something that's going to require a major shift of thinking for most of you. I'm going to promise something that's going to require probably the hardest work that you've ever done in your lifetime. I'm promising something that will require loads of sacrifice in terms of things that you can't do because you've got to do others. I'm promising you something that's going to mean that you're misunderstood, like David was, by the very people you think should have your back and support you. David's own brother said, go home and watch the sheep. Right? I'm promising you something that when you look at the work you've done now that you may feel pretty good about, you're going to look at and you're going to say, that's nothing compared to all this other stuff. What have I been doing all this time, my lifetime of ministry? Let me tell you right now something, though. You have borne fruit. You need to celebrate that. Right? But what I am saying is, if you could change a few things about what you're doing now and see more fruit in the next 5 years than you've seen in the previous years of your ministry, would you want to change? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that you're going to struggle with for at least 2 years before you unlearn all the things that will hold you back. And that over the next 3 years, you'll end up seeing the fruit beginning. And then over the next 5 years after that, you'll see fruit and you'll see movement. I'm talking about something that's going to have to require consistent effort over the next decade. So by 2022, I think we could see movement in the UK, if not before. But it's going to require more work than you can imagine. Okay? You may sit there and think, why is this guy telling us all this stuff? It's because I'm sick and tired of people standing up in front of others and saying, well, I've got the 10 things that if you did that, everything's going to be great. And people are going to think that you're awesome and you're not going to have to do any work. You can just name it and claim it in Jesus' name. You can walk through neighborhoods and pray for them and people are going to flock out in the streets and fill the stadiums. No. Guys, there has been a prayer movement in the UK that has spanned how many decades? People have been praying in and for this country for years. Now, prayer is important. It can't be done without it. But if prayer was all it took, the UK should have been won 10 times over. So we've got to combine the desperate prayer that foundation you've already built with action. Right? In Christianity today, as Pete and I have been talking, we're a people that are living like we're living in the peace. Yeah. And we've got to realize we're not living in peace. We're living at a time of war. And we've been treating, and I'm sorry to use this, I know it may step on some toes, we've been treating Satan like Adolf Hitler was back before Churchill came into power, right? Yeah. And that wasn't good. I think we can all say that. We've got to change that. Yeah. We need some more leaders to rise up and to start seeing him for the threat he is to our very way of life and what God has called us to do in our people. Let me give you another visual example. My university degree, which doesn't matter, is in English. I like to tell people it took me 4 years to learn how to read properly. And in English, we learn about, when we study literature, English literature, we read old stories to learn about telling stories, right? And what that tells us about life. And in typical English literature fashion, I read a bunch of British literature as well, you have your inciting incident, the thing that starts the story. Okay, your exposition, the thing that sets the scene. You have your inciting incident that starts the story. You have your rising action. Then you have your climax. And then you have your resolving action and your conclusion. If you ask most Christians, when they think of the Bible, what the climax of the story is, many of them say, well, it was the resurrection of Christ. Well, if that's the climax, then we're living in the concluding action, which would make living at a time of peace, it would make sense. Because in the falling action, nothing else is being done. All the loose ends are being tied up, and you're sitting on your hands waiting for the story to end, right? Everything is pleasant. But when I read the New Testament, Jesus is always talking about the kingdom come. He told the story about the 10 virgins, which means they were waiting for the bridegroom. He told the story about the thief in the night. He told, so many stories, because even Jesus was looking forward to the time that he would return and be reunited with his bride the way it should be. When you read about Paul, when you read about all these other people, they were looking for the return of Christ. The climax of the story is the return. The start of the story was the resurrection. Everything that went before was setting it up. We are living in the rising action. And any story, go back and read The Lord of the Rings, gets harder the closer you get to the climax. We're not living in the time of peace when everything is resolved. We're living in the time where it's going to get more difficult. And guys, it is getting more difficult every day. Okay? So, some of you are going to go home and think, what in the world did I sign up for? And it's okay if you want to go home and not come back. If this is something you don't want to do, we don't want to subject you to it. Right? We don't want to waste your time.
If you want to go back, we'll refund their money.
If you want to go back, we'll refund your money. That's fine. Okay? We're looking for people who want to sign up for hard work and to sacrifice. And if that's something you're interested in, then we can come back tomorrow and start talking about what it's going to take to see this done and to figure out what you guys need to do in order to see this happen in the United Kingdom in the next 10 years. All right? Let me bless you and we can get out of here. Do you have what time are we going to get back together tomorrow?
5 o'clock.
In the morning. No, what time?
9:30.
9:30. So be here at 9:30 in the morning.